Geographical location: Shinto is one of Japan's most important ancient religion, tracing back to around 500 BCE. Reasons of settlement in Japan: the Japanese did not have the idea of the anthropomorphic deities, but they knowledgeable the presence of spirit in nature and its phenomena. Wind, forests, rain, lightning, and also animals were thought to be charged with spiritual power, whose worldly manifestations were worshipped as kami, which considers a divine being in Shinto religion. Thus all the nature resources had led to the settlement of the Shinto religion. Especially the mountains and forests were they able to practice their rituals and rites in quiet environment. Geographical features and their contribution to the religion. The quiet environment in the mountains and forests of Japan has helped the Shinto religion in its settlement, because they believed that the kami lived within the mountains and forest. The Japanese people believed that these mountains and forests were natural beauties that had power from the kami. In addition to quietness in the mountains, they had all the sources of food and water that they wanted in the forests, which enabled them to survive. This has contributed to the religion's beliefs in many ways. The village council meetings were held in quiet spots in the mountains or in forests near large trees or other natural objects. Then these mountains and forests became the sacred places, and they gradually evolved into today's shrines, whose origins can be still seen in the Japanese words for mountain and forest, which can also mean shrine. Origins of the universe. Creation of the universe. In the beginning there was nothing but a great cloud. Heaven and earth were mixed together in it. As time went by, the great cloud separated into two parts, forming the lighter clouds which became heaven, and the heavier parts which became an ocean of muddy water. In between the two new realms, heaven and earth, a great flower began to grow. And from that plant sprouted Kinetokatashi, the first god of all creation. Kinetokatashi created two other gods to inhabit the lower realm. One was named Izanagi, which means male who invites. The other was called Izanmi, or female who invites. The two gods then stood on the Ama no Yukiasha, the floated bridge of heaven, and Izanagi threw his spear into the vast ocean. The distribution created by the weapon created a giant island. After they created the giant island, Izanmi chased Izanagi around. Then they made love, and she gave birth to the trees, the mountains, the waterfalls, the birds, and finally the wind. She gave birth to the sun goddess, Amaterasu, which was their first and favorite child, so he was sent up to rule over heaven. Later Izanmi gave birth to the fire god, burning herself and making her ill, so she left to the land of the dead over the objections of Izanagi. Before her dying, she asked her husband Izanagi not to follow her to the underworld, but he ignored her and went there, and instead of retrieve her, they parted forever. However, Izanagi returned back to the island and the creation continued. These new lives, and the island they were created on, became the nation of Japan we know today. This is some thought about how the Shinto people believed the universe was created. B. Introduction to religions of ancient origin. Religions of ancient origin in East Asia, derived from the original religion of their area, played major roles in everyday life, not just for special occasions. A variety of religious activities that affected the people include fertility cults of early farmers and herders, human and other types of sacrifices, continual warfare, practices attempted by hunters and gatherers that controlled the forces of nature for convenient environment, and occurrence of slavery. The people generally had no concern for populace who live outside of their own world, and displayed no special concerns for their beginning, origins, or end afterlife. Rather, the ancient religions of Asia emphasized more so on the cosmology of how the world works, and what their part consists of in the ever-existing universe. With that principle, there came an emphasis on priests, to offer sacrifices and oversee rituals, teachers, prophets, mystics, and diviners, those who have the gift of determining the will of the spirits, consequentially able to foresee future events. Shinto is the ancient Japanese religion of the spirits who control the world. The Shinto religion bases on the relationships between the man and female, such as the great relationships between Izanagi and Izanmi. The love between them has led to the creation of the giant islands which continued to create the ancient Japan. The story bases on the life over death, light over darkness, separation of the pure and impure, and the divine birth of the lands of Japan. Principal beliefs. The principal beliefs in Shinto is all about worshipping and glorifying their god and goddesses that are called kami. Kami means anything that is above, high, special, unusual or hopeful. The god kami refers to the substance or the internal quality of many circumstances that Shinto believers consider a glory of divinity. These phenomena include rocks, trees, rivers, animals, places and people. In Shinto religion all these things are made by the power of kami. Kami relate to many certain places, persons, or natural. In Japan the believers that believe in Shinto has or had a special place in their household called kami shelf or shrine for its household kami. Inside most traditional Japanese architecture is showcase amongst most shrines. The first essential element is purification, which involves water. People must wash hands and mouth before entering. It is a sign of cleansing and renewal. The second essential element is offering money and food for the kami. The third essential element is making an offering to the kami, such as praying to the kami, which is made for both thanksgiving and petition for the future. Kami community celebrations involve music, dancing, ritual reenactment of planting, harvest and history. The kami brought into the presence of the daily life of the community and individual citizens as Shinto celebrations take place. Afterlife. The idea of karma is alive and present in Shinto, as are spirits and souls. Central to Shinto are kami, nature spirits, spiritual presences, godlike beings, or all three. They can show many features: harsh, sweet, kind, weak, or disobedient. But there is no dualistic nature to these qualities. It is understood that each kami has a rough and gentle side. Every human being contains one within. This is what lives on when the individual passes away. After death, a person becomes a spirit deity, finally joining in a great ancestral collective which is the expression of the great divine. Shinto's focus is on living this life in harmony with nature.
Supernatural powers and deities. Shintoism has many religious deities which each have contrasted principles and responsibilities. One of the deities' name is kami, who are the main deity in the principal beliefs of Shinto. The principal beliefs in Shinto is all about worshipping and glorifying their god that are called kami. The god kami refers to the substance or the internal quality of many circumstances that Shinto believers consider a glory of divinity. Amaterasu. Amaterasu name means shining over heaven. She is the most important deity that includes all of the kami and is considered the most powerful kami of all, the sun goddess, Amaterasu. Amaterasu is the protector of all the people, and the mother of all creation. It is supposed she invented the art of weaving, created rice fields, grew wheat and bred silkworms, all of which were cherished events in the ancient days of the religion. Rituals. Shinto rituals are usually seen in most of the Japanese festivals. Rituals are more specialized events at their particular shrines and other sites. Rituals. Shinto rituals are usually seen in most of the Shinto rituals are the main part of most of the national festivals in Japan, as well as of the more focused events at particular shrines and other sacred sites. Shinto rituals are often just one section of a type of a massive public festival called a matsuri, which is the central kind of celebration in Shinto. Early Japanese observances of agricultural seasons with spring and fall festivals connected with planting and harvesting rice in addition to periodic purification ceremonies to wash away spiritual pollutions. In addition to seasonal observances, Shinto festivals also plays a role at the events of an individual's life. Shinto rituals are the main part of most of the national festivals in Japan, as well as of the more focused events at particular shrines and other sacred sites. Shinto rituals are often just one section of a type of a massive public festival called a matsuri, which is the central kind of celebration in Shinto. Early Japanese observances of agricultural seasons with spring and fall festivals connected with planting and harvesting rice in addition to periodic purification ceremonies to wash away spiritual pollutions. In addition to seasonal observances, Shinto festivals also plays a role at the events of an individual's life. The importance of afterlife to society. The importance of afterlife to the society is found to be not quite significant. The early Shinto myths and legends do not describe in detail what happens to people after they die. The central creation myth about the start of the world refers to the land of the dead, known as Yami, as a terrible place beneath the earth. Demons live there and maggots feed on corpses. Many scholars think that because Shinto connected death with impurity in a miserable state, people welcomed Buddhism, which had more positive relations. Early Shinto beliefs did not connect the afterlife with punishments or rewards for things a person did while alive. Death and burial in Shinto. Burying the dead includes at least 20 steps, each of which has a unique name. 4 of these steps are mainly interesting. Kikufuda is a single-day period of great mourning, in which mourners wear solid black. A Shinto priest makes the rituals of chanting, singing and praying during the Kikufuda period. Many other steps also happen that day, including koden, which is giving monetary gifts to the deceased's family to help them pay funeral expenses. Katsuichi is the process of gathering the deceased's ashes. Not all of the ashes are buried. At the bunkatsu step, some of the ashes are given to family members to place in their home shrines.
Religion and society. The interrelations of the society, beliefs and practices of the religion remain controlled. Shintoism is the religious belief and practice of Japan. It began around 500 BC, though there is no founding date or scriptures, in order to tell between the indigenous people of Japan from other cultures and Japanese. The 5 fundamental group goals in Shinto society are revival Shinto sects, Confucian sects, purification sects, mountain worship sects, and faith healing sects. Shinto tolerates the society to hold a positive view on the world, and causes followers to give necessary human rights to everyone as they believe man is Kami's child. The practices of Shinto society participate in consists of shrines held for the kami in private regions such as homes, or public places. They also participate in different festivals held annually, including the Spring Festival, an annual festival, and the Divine Procession where small shrines are carried on shoulders and transported through the parish. The ethical teaching of Shinto. The ethical system has been reflected in Japanese society as the 2 small shrines are really intertwined. Though there is no set complex system, a simple moral code of peace and harmony therefore with the world keeps its importance, avoiding lies, murder, adultery, etc. The 4 affirmations of the ethics reflected in society is, tradition in the family, love of nature, physical cleanliness and matsuri, meaning festivals and celebrations held in the honor of the spirits. One of the most significant parts of the Shinto religion is the expression of loyalty to superiors, those being ancestors, emperors, family, the country of Japan and Shinto itself. A basic quality of Shinto ethics is the 2 meanings of purity, which are outer/bodily purity, and inner purity, as well as sincerity. Festivals and ceremonies. Festivals, Matsuri, were held many times a year in gratitude to the deities for their reward and were roughly connected with shrines. Huge festivals held between seasons are linked to rice farming, since rice cultivation is a very significant tradition for the society. At the festivals of each of the 4 seasons, offerings of food and traditional court music and dance are held for the deities. They offer premium rice, water, salt, sake, seasonal fruits and vegetables, meats and fish, then split these foods. These are planned for communication with the kami, where people say thanks, offer praise, make requests, even get answers to significant questions using priests as mediators. They also give means of worshipping and encountering divinity. Festivals and ceremonies. Festivals, Matsuri, were held many times a year in gratitude to the deities for their reward and were roughly connected with shrines. Huge festivals held between seasons are linked to rice farming, since rice cultivation is a very significant tradition for the society. At the festivals of each of the 4 seasons, offerings of food and traditional court music and dance are held for the deities. They offer premium rice, water, salt, sake, seasonal fruits and vegetables, meats and fish, then split these foods. These are planned for communication with the kami, where people say thanks, offer praise, make requests, even get answers to significant questions using priests as mediators. They also give means of worshipping and encountering divinity.